Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta's live stream Sunday morning service. So glad you're here with us as we enter a new worship series, Qualities of Resilience. And this morning we talk about seeking joy. I'm very, very into that. Our very first hymn this morning, in my brain I was thinking it was written by Mozart, and I looked it up this morning, and it said this song is often attributed to Mozart, even though there is no evidence as to why people do that. But anyway, it's a great melody, super famous song. It's called Dona nobis pacem, which means grant us peace. It is a round, so you can either sing one part of the round over and over and over, or sing the whole round, however you want. I'll teach you all the parts. The first one goes, Dona nobis pacem pacem, Dona nobis pacem. Try it with me. Dona nobis pacem pacem, Dona nobis pacem. If you want to keep singing that one the whole song, totally fine. The next section I'm going to break into two. It goes, Dona nobis pacem. Try that. Dona nobis pacem. Second half. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Third part goes, Dona nobis pacem. This one's jumpier. Try it again. Dona nobis pacem. Then Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. We will be led this morning by our quartet UUCA on a video. You can either choose a part to sing, you can sing along with Paula, Pam, Terry, or Gerald. Please welcome Quartet UUCA singing Dona nobis pacem with us.
Dona nobis pacem pacem, Dona nobis pacem, Dona nobis pacem,
Thank you so much. Reverend Strauss and I were just grinning ear to ear the whole time. So great to hear you sing, and hope you all enjoyed singing along from home. We are so glad you've all chosen to join us for live worship this morning. It is the best place to watch worship on the whole internet, the whole thing. It's very big.
Welcome to Sunday. You've made it through another week of chaos, of pandemic. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. I'm Reverend Taryn Strauss, minister of this congregation, and as a parent, as a friend, a daughter, a spouse, and a minister, I find myself encouraging resilience for all of us as the highest call of our time, of this moment. Resilience, but how? What do we draw from to build a resilient spirit? What tools and skills do we need to become ever more resilient in the face of great struggle and challenge? Over the next 5 Sundays, we will expand on the qualities of resilience as we prepare to germinate through the dark days of winter, gathering our deepest resources for the year ahead. I want to announce that our new adults religious education series, So You Want to Talk About Race, has begun. If you missed this past Tuesday's session on the history and construct of race in the United States, you can watch it again this evening at 5:00 p.m. And this coming Tuesday's session will be led by Heather Davis, Director of Alumni Services for the Urban Alliance in Chicago. Together with Heather, you will explore and unpack common terminology used to describe race and various forms of racism. And I think that will be taking place Thursday at 7:30 p.m. The recording of that session and a follow-up discussion will happen again next Sunday at 5:00. In fact, each session of this fall Adult RE series will take place both on Tuesdays and on Sundays. So you have 2 opportunities to be a part of it. The link is the exact same for all those sessions in the series, and it is going into the live chat right now. And I'm sure you can also find it in the weekly update. The fight to protect our vote is not over. Georgia runoff elections will take place on December 1st and January 5th. Please join UU the Vote today at 3:00 p.m. to continue our work to expand voting rights and the democratic process across our state of Georgia. You can sign up to participate in this afternoon's UU the Vote event to learn our strategy by following the link provided in the live chat right now. Voting absolutely matters. In addition to this being a part of our democracy, it is also a value of our faith. And one tool is this is one tool in the social justice toolbox. This week, UUCA will offer many ways for you to support social justice work of our time. Just this week, there will be a screening of a documentary film on Thursday, a virtual Justice Power Hour on Friday, focusing, I think, on voting, and a Saturday demonstration on our front lawn on Saturday, as I just said, to speak out for immigration justice. Please sign up for our thrilling social justice newsletter. I'm serious. It is a thrilling newsletter that goes out each week. I cannot believe the amazing social justice actions that are going on right now. So please do sign up for our social justice newsletter to find out more about this. As always, you can contact Beck Shalizzi, our social justice coordinator, whose email address is on our website, or who may be dropping their email in the chat as well. Please join your UUCA community for a Zoom Room virtual social justice hour directly after the service. This Sunday, members of the Board of Trustees of UUCA will also be joining the Zoom social hour to chat, to answer questions that you might have about what's going on in the leadership realm of UUCA. Please sign up for the Zoom social hour by following the link in the weekly update email or by following the link that is being dropped into the live chat right now. Through our live chat, we can express love and care for one another. We know we have so many varied opinions. That's a strength of our faith and our congregation. However, the YouTube chat, well, that's not the place to voice and discuss those opinions, as that might take away from the flow of the service for someone else. If you wish, you're welcome to use our live chat feature for three purposes: to welcome and support one another, and I hope you will, to affirm the hard work and effort of our worship leaders and our amazing audiovisual team, and to spread good vibes. If you have questions or concerns about the sermon or the worship service, you can always contact me or the staff directly via email. If you do notice yourself becoming upset during the worship service, please know we have a lay minister standing by in our live chat. This week, it is Sonia Tinsley Hook is our lay minister standing by. She can arrange a phone call with you offline so that others can enjoy the service. And now I want to invite you into that gentle care on our live stream. Please take a moment to welcome each other, and especially to welcome anyone who may be visiting into this morning's service.
My name is Kate Sweeney. I was working on a project a few years ago and kept hearing about there being a decline in religious belief in this country, about this fact that more and more Americans are marking no religion as their religion of choice. And many of my friends outside of UUCA view that as a good thing. Undoubtedly, religion has spurred on conflict. It's been the source of so much intolerance and hatred for century upon century. Surely, it's better that it all go away, right? But the other night, my husband John and I were talking about what we had seen in our son's RE class. His K-2 teachers were teaching them about the interdependent web of life, about how there is no me without we. They encouraged our kids to mark acts of kindness they performed throughout the week and to come back and talk about those acts. And where else, we wondered, do these conversations and this kind of teaching happen in a community setting? Where in the secular world? It was one of those moments I frequently have which make me want to proselytize our work at UUCA, to preach to the skies all the ways I believe we are building a better world, the ways I witness it Sunday after Sunday. When our small family made our pledge for the stewardship campaign, we were truly giving back to ourselves, and not just to our own son so that he can learn how to be a better human, although that's part of it. If that us who we believe in does not stop at our front door, if we really do believe in the interconnected web of all existence, then I see giving as our duty. This year, in pledging for the Capitol campaign, we stretched. We went generous. We let ourselves dream big. And yes, we rearranged personal plans for this, travel and remodeling in our own household that can wait a few years. This is an opportunity to be part of UUCA's audacious history. A history of ordinary people like us, like my husband and me, choosing again and again to band together with other ordinary folks, other extraordinary folks, to swim against the tides of things like culturally ingrained racism and oppression of all stripes, and together building something bigger and brighter than anyone alone could create. We've seen it again and again in our congregation's remarkable history. And now here we are again at another crossroads. We are the beneficiaries of that history, pure and simple. I know this as I watch my kids' RE class on Sunday mornings, as I see those bright interactions, the community that is happening there and everywhere in our midst. And if there ever was a time in history to dare big, to go big again, It's now. Of this, we had no doubt. We did not hesitate. And I challenge you, if you can, to do the same. The present time and the present moment is what is given to us. What will you do with it? Well, I challenge you to go to uuca.org/together and request a visit today.
So if you have been waiting to have your capital campaign visit, or there's somebody who is in your inbox who's been reaching out to you to make a visit, the time is now. We are coming to the end of our capital campaign, this part of our capital campaign season, and it is absolutely time to make your visit, to have your visit. And I have some very exciting, kind of astounding news to share with you about our capital campaign. We are within reach of our goal to build the campus of our dreams in Atlanta, and with it, to build a new way together. As of this morning, you have pledged $3,926,375 towards our capital campaign. We are also thrilled to announce that over $1 million of this amount has already been deposited. So this is real. This is happening. We will get there. If you have not yet made your pledge, I have some even more exciting news for you. UUCA has a fantastic opportunity to make your pledge that you pledge this week go even further. We have the challenge of raising an additional $75,000 between now and next Saturday, November 21st. A generous group of UUCA donors has come together and has committed to increase their pledges to award a powerful challenge gift. That means every new dollar you pledge between this moment and this coming Saturday, November 21st, will be doubled up to the $75,000 challenge amount. Help us hit our $75,000 goal to get the bonus before Saturday. Please go ahead and go to uuca.org together to schedule a visit this week so we can all reach our dreams and our goals. We cannot wait to hear from you. And if I have learned anything from a lifetime of procrastination, it's that we can and will pull this off beautifully. And now, won't you please grab your chalice at home and join me in lighting our chalice together as we say our chalice lighting words. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
So there's this thing in the world that the AV crew, sound and lights folks, that if you never see anything go wrong, they've done the perfect job. So a computer just crashed, came back together, and George Macon got it back up in exactly the right time to show you that chalice lighting slide. It's just totally awesome. They're bringing sunshine like this song. This is Stevie Wonder's You Are the Sunshine of My Life. The sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye. Whoa, whoa. Forever you'll stay in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning, though I have loved you a million years. And if I thought our love was ending, well, I'd find myself drowning in my own tears. Whoa, you are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye. Whoa, forever you'll stay in my heart. You must have known that I was lonely, because you came to my rescue. And I know that this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? Oh, you are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always stay around. You are the apple of my eyes. Forever you'll stay in my heart.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Won't you please rise wherever you are, in body or in spirit, and join the Bradlow family who is leading us in this morning's movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring those gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
Namaste.
Every night and every morn, some to misery are born. Every morn and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Joy and woe are woven fine, clothing for the soul divine. Under every grief and pine runs a joy with silk entwined.
Let us put hands upon hearts and feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. Now we hear the joys and sorrows of this worshiping community. Please keep Alicia Hodges in your thoughts. We send her loving energy. Alicia's 79-year-old brother, who lives in Little Rock, Arkansas, is currently hospitalized with COVID-19. We hold Alicia and her brother in our hearts. Please send energy to somebody who could use some healing, loving energy right about now. Someone in your life who needs some prayer, some healing. Please write their names into our live chat or speak their name out loud into this holy moment now. We keep in our hearts people who are struggling with loneliness, with grief, loss, or illness across the world. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find more ways to be more loving to one another. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day in our way to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected, and to feel that connection. Now, we still our bodies, and we still our minds. We take in a breath together, and we exhale. We relax into this moment that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
it should be so. We were made for joy and woe, and when this we rightly know, safely through the world we go.
A couple of weeks ago, on October 31st, I brought a rather shell-shocked ghost and an overwhelmed Jawa to the parking lot at our new campus, UUCA's new campus at 2650 North Druid Hills Road. My 5-year-old sons did not know what a trunk or treat was, and they hadn't seen a group of live people in about 8 months, which is, if you think about it, a sizable portion of their lifetimes. We tumbled out of the minivan on that warm sunshine to find about 20 different families had gone above and beyond the call of duty to produce masterful, creatively designed trunks with various candy dispersal systems, ranging from fishing rods to complex PVC pipe systems. There was an actual fire-breathing dragon, well, not an actual dragon, but an amazing replica of a fire-breathing dragon in one trunk, and another electric orange convertible decorated as a jack-o'-lantern that caught my son's eye. Spooky classic rock was playing on the loudspeaker, and adults and kids were fully costumed to the nines. And as we wandered the parking lot together, I noticed a frenetic giddiness to the people we encountered. I mean, you have to understand that at UCA's Halloween trunk or treat, no one had done this halfway. During a pandemic, when we finally came up with a way to safely bring Halloween to our children and to the children in our new neighborhood, after months of separation and dull days spent at home, well, no one felt like just phoning it in. No, not at UUCA. And whenever possible, we are all in here. All the way in. This was a capital M moment. This was a Halloween my family and my sons will never forget as long as they live. You did it. You saved Halloween. Just like we are saving each other. The offering will now be given and most gratefully received.
This song is a beautiful song by one of my favorite singer-songwriters named Sufjan Stevens. It's called The Predatory Wasps of the Palisades. It's a song about someone who's maybe a brother, maybe a best friend, but he uses the term "we were in love" to go beyond that idea of just cursory love with each other, that there was a deeper connection. Thinking outrageously, I write in cursive. I hide in my bed with the light on the floor, wearing 3 layers of coats and leg warmers. I see my own breath on the face of the door. Oh, I am not quite sleeping. Oh, I am fast in bed. There upon the wall in my bedroom, creeping, I see the wasp with her wings outstretched. of Savannah, we swim in the Palisades. I come out wearing my brother's red hat. There on his shoulder, my best friend was bit 7 times. He lies washing his face in his hands. Oh, how I meant to tease him. Oh, how I meant no harm. Touching his back with my arm, I kiss him. I see the wasp on the length of my arm. Oh, great sights upon this state, hallelujah. Wonders bright and rivers, lakes, hallelujah. Trail of tears and Horseshoe Lake, hallelujah. Trusting things beyond mistake. We were in love, we were in love. Palisades, Palisades, I can wait, I can wait. We were in love, we were in love. Palisades, Palisades, I can wait, I can wait. I can't explain the state that I'm in, the state of my heart. He was my best friend. Into the car, from the back seat. Oh, admiration in falling asleep. All of my powers, day after day. And now I can tell you they've swaggered and swayed deep in the tower, the prairies below. I can tell you, but the telling gets old. Terrible sting, terrible storm. I can tell you the day we were born. My friend is gone, he ran away. But I can tell you that I love him each day. Though we have sparred, wrestled and raged, I can tell you that I love him each day. Terrible sting, terrible storm. I can tell you we were in love, we were in love. Palisades, Palisades, I can wait, I can wait. We were in love, we were in love. Palisades, Palisades, I can wait. Lamb of God, we sound the horn. Hallelujah. Unto us a ghost is born. We were in love, we were in love. Palisades, Palisades, I can wait, I can wait. We were in love, we were in love. Palisades, Palisades, I can wait.
I love that song so much I almost forgot to dedicate the offering. Thank you, Don. That was beautiful. So I hope you have gone to uuca.org/give to make your offering this morning, to contribute to the expanding circle of abundance we create here, a place to create and remember joy that will get us through all the hard nights and hard days. Blessings on your gift, blessings on the experiences of joy that we have created and will continue to create together. May they go far and wide to spread love. Please join me in the dedication of the offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. So ends the first reading. And our second reading is an excerpt of an essay by the writer Zadie Smith titled Joy. It might be useful to distinguish between pleasure and joy, but maybe everybody does this very easily all the time, and only I am confused. A lot of people seem to feel that joy is only the most intense version of pleasure, arrived at by the same road. You simply have to go a little further down the track. This has not been my experience. And if you asked me if I wanted more joyful experiences in my life, I wouldn't be at all sure I did, exactly because it proves such a difficult emotion to manage. It's not at all obvious to me how we should make an accommodation between joy and the rest of our everyday lives. Sometimes joy multiplies itself dangerously. Children are the infamous example. Isn't it bad enough that the beloved with whom you have experienced genuine joy will eventually be lost to you? Why add to this nightmare the child, whose loss, if it ever happened, would mean nothing less than your total annihilation? It should be noted that an equally dangerous joy for many people is the dog or the cat. Relationships with animals being in some sense intensified by guaranteed finitude. You hope to leave this world before your child. You are quite certain your dog will leave before you do. Joy is such a human madness. So ends this morning's reading. In Jewish mysticism, there is a phase of Genesis called Tzimtzum. According to the Kabbalists, in order to give the world life, in order to effect creation, God must depart from the world God created. The Creator must always exile God's self from the creation for the creation to breathe. God contracts to make space so that the world can exist. But right before the departure, God stuffs divine light into vessels that will be left behind. The vessels cannot contain God's light, and they burst, and shards of light are scattered everywhere. Gershom Scholem explains that we spend our lives collecting the offspring of this light. We spend our lives trying to make what once was broken whole again. This, according to the Kabbalists, begins the history of trauma. How will we pick up the pieces of our country? Where do we begin? A memory. I was 4 years old, and an African dance troupe were invited to play the worship service of my church, the Third Unitarian Church of Chicago, After the service, we all gathered in the Robeson Room, the social hall of this very serious humanist congregation full of human rights advocates on Chicago's West Side. The drummers, with their djembes, offered a beat, the sound bouncing off concrete floors. Adults gathered in a crowd, and I, at 4 years old, I felt the rhythm in my limbs, in my body. My heart's beat seemed to join the djembes and the bongos, and I leapt into the crowd, shimmying my body and jumping precisely to the beat. The crowd around me grew. The space grew until the huddled crowd expanded, and suddenly a circle formed around me. I threw my body into the space and spun around, feeling the waves of energy, those smiles beaming down on me. I skipped and leapt, clapped and stomped to the beat while the circle of friendly faces clapped for me, joining with the drum until I lost myself. I forgot where I began and where the beat ended, all my energy carried away on a rhythm of power and history and community. For years and years after, even these days, people in that church remember me as the little girl who danced in the social hall and got everyone else to dance too. And I think it's worth noting that my very first experience of joy happened in my church social hall. It wasn't just the connection to a new rhythm from another land. It was the circle where I felt so at home, so well known, and in that moment, completely and totally loved. So, every time I dedicate a child or write something about a Building a New Way Together campaign, every time I officiate a memorial service or recruit a volunteer, the joy of that first moment whispers at the edge of this ministry. Sometimes it is so powerful and so present, I think you can feel it. Almost like you were there. Maybe you were in the crowd, or maybe you were one of the drummers bringing the rhythm and the life. Maybe you were a member of the congregation delighting in the child who invited you to know joy. Like the writer, Zadie Smith, I come by pleasure easily and often. I really like to make every single meal special, even snacks. I can spend weeks looking forward to a fun dinner out. A fabulous playlist, well, that can bless my whole day. And lately, dance parties before bedtime have taken on a particular euphoria and creativity in our house as my children explore their bodies moving through space with proud abandon. But how many times in my life have I truly accessed, blissed off, thunderstruck joy? Joy, delight, and pleasure, well, they're all connected, no doubt. Joy derives from faith, not in perpetual goodness, nor perpetual progress, but in meaning, in finding meaning and deep connection. Joy is connected to faithfulness, reminding us that love is possible, that life, no matter how difficult, well, it contains joy too. Not every moment, not every day, not even every year, but it will come again. This is a life stance I'm talking about. Choosing to stay attentive to joy, to wait its coming, and perhaps even fear it a little bit too. Because the other side of joy can hold deep loss, even terror. Zadie Smith discusses how children are a particular terrible joy when she writes, "Sometimes joy multiplies itself dangerously. Children, the infamous example. Isn't it bad enough that the beloved with whom you have experienced genuine joy will eventually be lost to you? Why add to this nightmare the child whose loss, if it ever happened, would mean nothing less than your total annihilation. And I want to ask you to really think through this question. What is the source of your joy? Is it faith in God or in goodness or in joy itself? That joy will return, that joy can be a reservoir, a fount of blessing for you, as it has been. Why do we speak of joy in times of infinite sorrow and struggle? The theology of liberation is built upon a theology that joy, an idea that joy awaits us all, that joy is accessible to all of us, that even under incredible oppression and subjugation, there is an interior life that can know delight, that can feel connected with God or with faith or with love, with joy. That there is an ultimate destiny that is more joyful than the days we are living through right now. As the poet and essayist Ross Gay puts it, it is joy by which the labor that will make the life I want possible. It is joy by which the labor that will make the life I want possible. So it is not at all puzzling to me that joy is possible in the midst of great difficulty. The joy of laboring with love that will make the life I want possible. Joy in the good work of justice. It's the memory of joy, which can deepen into trust that you will know joy again. The trick is to keep a little foothold on the joy you have found at some other time in your life maybe, and let it carry you forward. Let it lift you up into the next rung. Joy can leave a residue, reminding you that you were once in joy. Being in joy, well, it's a place you can return to, like a lightning strike in your life that crackles with energy and keeps it all a little bit electric. These last few years, they have felt heavier than any other time in my life. It has been a labored discipline not to greet each day, each news cycle with deeper dread than the day before. Some days have just felt like sheer terror to wake up in America. And yet, these were also the years my twins were babies and toddlers. These were also the days they learned to walk, talk, and sing. These were the days when I first saw Hamilton with my tween niece and nephew eating lemon cake together while fireworks exploded over the beach at sunset outside the window. These were also the days I took my children to see the lights at the botanical garden, and we sat for hours on the bridge sipping hot chocolate as they learned about classical music alongside botany and the twinkling marvel of a light show, all at the same time. And to this day, they request classical music with their breakfast. Sometimes I even worry my children will spend their lives seeking out the epic experience, but then I remember that life is hard. And I don't worry about the extreme sensation, the release of pure joy from time to time. Poet Ross Gay reminds us to gather what we need to put the pieces of our country back together. He writes, I often think the gap in our speaking about and speaking for justice or working for justice is that we forget to advocate for love, for what we find beautiful and necessary. We are good at fighting, sure, but imagining and holding in one's imagination what is wonderful, what is to be adored and preserved and exalted, well, that is harder for us. That's from Ross Gay. And now we are entering the darkest days of the year. This is a time when, like the seed, we may need to be somewhat dormant and still resting as we determine our next move. A time to burrow in as the pandemic rages around us. It may also be a time to release dreams of spending vacation with family or traveling. It may be a time to burrow in further and stay home, stay safe. But we can draw on our memories of joy, of Thanksgivings past and Thanksgivings in the future, to remember and to ultimately imagine and dream of what we are fighting for, what we are working for, what we are staying home for. And it is also true. There are forces that wish to strip us of joy. Yeah, we may be finding our way back to pleasure. That's clear. I've heard it from you. The delicious home-cooked meal, the festive bonfire. Pleasure, sure. But what of joy? You know, sometimes I do fear we have fallen out of joy. So, when I heard the news about who would become our next president, although I was home alone, although I had the entire sermon ahead of me unwritten and it was Saturday, I grabbed my yard signs, I stood on my lawn, and I just started yelling. I whooped and hollered. For 2 straight hours, I jumped up and down. Slowly, neighbors came out of their homes one by one, and after 8 months of quarantine apart, we had a little distanced block party. Block parties, by the way, are another memory of complete and utter joy from my childhood. One man burst out of his house and came running out with a sign that just read a single word: yes. When you feel joy creeping back in, do not temper it with cynical conclusions. Do not fall for the media's desire to keep you in anxious curiosity about how horrific things can still become. Hold up your little sign to the broken pieces of our world, one that offers a simple exultation: yes. In 2002, an academic's article for the Journal of Southern History titled "The Pleasures of Resistance: Enslaved Women and Body Politics in the Plantation South from 1830 to 1861. This was written by American feminist historian Stephanie Camp, who writes, "Just as exploitation, containment, and punishment of the body were political acts, so too was the enjoyment of the body. Though this was written about slavery in the 1800s, the idea that unrestricted joy and freedom expressed by Black people and people of color, it is inherently rebellious. That still rings true today. We can actively trace the spatial and temporal control of Black expression from slavery and colonialism through to today. This is why the act of joy is resistance. And as we use our physical bodies to protest, to march, to demand change, we must also use them to experience joy. The London protesters that we saw earlier in our reading underscored this point perfectly back in June 2020 with their moment of a spontaneously joyful movement, the electric slide. Pay attention to joy when you see it, calling to you. Hold fast to the joy you have felt, you have found a way to access in your life whenever you are able to grab its tenuous, all-encompassing hold on your heart. As the essayist Sabrina Mark wrote this week, we are knee-deep in broken things. I wade through the kitchen and the news and our yard. The dryer is making a sound. The country is divided. Tree limbs are everywhere. How did the switch break off the lamp? I ask Eli, my 7-year-old. He shrugs. It's like a miracle, he says. From Sabrina Mark. And I say, our resilience is also the miracle. Over the next 5 weeks, we will explore all the qualities that creates the miracle that is us, making it through together. So hold on to joy. Open your door to joy. Let joy build your resistance and your resilience, so that when you are knee-deep in broken things, those shards of light scattered everywhere, you can still sing to yourself, I've got that joy, joy, joy down in my heart, and know it is true. May it be so.
I'm a fan of joy. Big fan. So it's great. Our final hymn this morning is For All That Is Our Life. Talk about the complexities of joy. We'll sing all 4 verses together. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
So I want you to know that we planned this service a long time ago. This was not relying, whatever the outcome of the last week or two, we knew that we wanted to focus on our own resilience. And with that, take a moment to remember to seek joy. So please, in this time, don't shut down joy that wants to express itself from your heart. Stay open and attentive to joy. Remember when you were in joy. And let that memory go viral in your imagination. Let joy spread into your work and your vision for our community, for everything we are fighting and working for. Remember when you were in joy. Let that spark your resilience to get through the pandemic, to get through the darkness of winter together. In this way, we will go in love, go in peace, go in joy until we gather again. Amen. Blessed be.